Hi, today we're going to talk about C# events, but we will present them with two classes instead of one, like we did with the previous video. The reason is that it is more common to have two classes on two different objects that have essentially different roles. One is the publisher, one that says, look, I'm the one that detects a certain condition and I notify you when that happens. And you need one of these, right? One person that screams at the top of your lungs, this happened, right? The avatar has been hit by a bullet or something like that. And then there can be 0, 1, or more subscribers that know who the publisher is, otherwise they wouldn't be able to listen to the publisher when screams, right? This is the event that happened. And they, the subscribers, are the ones that provide the function that is executed when that event happens. So let's see it more. Okay, publisher. Let's see how it all looks. There you go. And there's some code commented out because there is a generalization of what we are going to talk right now that I'll introduce in 5 minutes, okay? But for now, let's go with this. No different than before when we did it with a single class that does everything, right? Basically, this is a class that talks to itself. C# events is a class that talks to itself. And there is this event handler on space press that is defined in system, and we are just using the same, okay? And by the way, that's what the commented code is about, being able to do your own arguments. But for now, let's stick to this. What does it do in update, right? There's nothing else, just this event that is of type event handler being a delegate, and we are basically defining this. Very well. Somebody else, the subscriber, will do plus equal on it and adds something that needs to be done when that happens, sure. But for now, here, I'm just saying, in update, just before any frame renders, I'm gonna check if a certain special event has been triggered. In this case, would be me pressing the spacebar or the player pressing the spacebar if it is a game. So we have this code that detects it and then invokes whatever list of functions has been saved in here, right? Remember, this is like a delegate, but with the event keyword in front. So because it's a delegate, there can be 0, 1, or more functions that are executed when we invoke this, okay? Notice that for now, we are passing nothing as the argument. So there is this special empty that you can use when you want to say, this is me, the sender, and nothing special I want to add to this message, just that. It happened, right? And this is useful more often than not because you can have different kinds, right? And the information, in a sense, is encoded in the name on spacebar pressed. Of course, one could maybe come up with a more general event, like a key on the keyboard has been pressed, in which case this could be used as a way to specify which key has been pressed. But because in this case, the name of the key that has been pressed, the spacebar, is built into the name, so we know that there is no need to specify anything else. Very well. The subscriber, if there is any, because maybe there is nobody that, at least right now, wants or care to know about that event happening. But let's say we are the code that makes the avatar jump. Maybe we want to know about spacebar being pressed, right? Because that's how we decided the avatar is going to jump. Now, in this case, we don't make the avatar jump. Instead, we just, we print hello world. Big deal, right? Okay. Notice that we are not using it at all. See, it's not getting used. That's okay. We remember that we passed empty anyway. So in start, we just add this function, and notice that the function is part of the subscriber, right? It's a private function, so notice that the publisher knows nothing about it because it doesn't say public. So the publisher doesn't know what is it that is going to happen. It just says whatever it is that the subscribers, if any, registered, that's going to happen. So this plus equal, in a sense, is the registration, in that I'm the subscriber and I'm registering that print hello world is what happens when this event happens, right? It's a lot of words, but fundamentally it's really no different than here. It's just that start, that is what the subscriber does, and the function that the subscriber executes are part of the same class that is also the one that does the update. So in a sense, subscriber, these two, and publisher, this one, are in the same class. It doesn't happen though very often because this is the equivalent of a person talking to herself, right? It's not very useful. You know what you know, so you don't need to tell yourself. Whereas here the publisher sort of says, oh, I know that this has been pressed, so I trigger, I invoke all the functions that have been registered on this delegate that is also an event. And these are all the subscribers. There can be different kinds of subscribers, to subscriber of type A, subscriber of type B. Maybe type A does print hello world, type B does something completely different, like making the avatar jump or something else. Or still print something on the console, but it's different, it's not hello world, it's something else. Anyway, I think you start getting what I'm getting at. Let's get back to Unity. We press play. Again, notice publisher, subscriber knows about the publisher. How does he know about the publisher? Because we have this serialized field that is a little bit like saying public, right? So it's like saying public, the publisher. So I literally drag and drop the publisher onto here, right? That's all I did. And now, when I press spacebar, it says hello world. I press it again now. Again. I don't know if you can hear me pressing the spacebar, but it does that. Every time I press it, it prints hello world. Can this be generalized? Yes, for instance. I can have 4, right? And then I press play. What do you think happens now? Well, it recompiles a little bit, restarts. And now I press spacebar, I expect to see 4 of those messages, right? Because each one, well, they are all clones of each other, right? So, but each one has done the plus equal, right? Remember that. Has done the plus equal of the print hello world. So it's like 4 instances of this class. Actually, yeah, this class that is a component. So 4 objects all have this component, and all of them do add this to the same spacebar pressed, because there is only one publisher, and each one does plus equal on it. So when the spacebar is detected to be pressed, notice that down, no, so it's not being held down, just the moment it goes from up to down the first time and never again, it invokes and executes all those 4 functions. So that's how it works. Of course, you could have a subscriber of a completely different type that doesn't register this function. You register one that is completely different. But it just to make the point, right? I just made a 4 copy of it. So now I'm going to delete them. All right. So how can we generalize this to something that has, you know, more of a ability to choose what the publisher tells the subscriber, and vice versa. Basically, the communication between the two. Can we enhance it? Because right now is, you know, just nothing, right? We are saying nothing. Well, there is a way. Event handler, as you have understood, there has a sender and then an event arg. but usually the event target is empty. So can we do some better? Yes, because there is an event handler that is templated. You see this one? So let's expose it. You see it's the same name, but like this. So this is similar to what we saw with action. I don't know if you remember that video. There is action with nothing, and then there is action that is templated. Same thing. And the argument of the template is supposed to be, guess what? Something that we derive from event target. So event target is the basic one that is empty, but we can derive our own, and we can specify whatever information we want, a boolean, an integer, a float. I just put stuff, okay? Can be anything. And then I say, okay, I want this one, and I call it on space pressed with event targets. That is these ones, these three guys, right? And then I say, look, when I press a spacebar, I could comment this out, right? Or I can show that I can have two. I show you I can have two of them. So two delegates that are both lists of functions, they each can be invoked, right? Of course, when I invoke the second one, I can specify the values, right? This is the syntax. I say new, blah, blah, open brace, and then I specify comma separated, each field with a value equal, see, and that's it. So there's that, and then the subscriber, of course, will say, well, this is what I'm gonna do. This is the function. And instead of print hello world, this is print hello universe. And of course, we have to say, here we say the type is event targets, that is sort of well known, right, is in here. Whereas this one, we defined it ourselves, but we defined it inside publisher. So be careful, make it public, so that from subscriber we can reach it, you see? And you have to prefix it with publisher, because that's where it is. It is public, but still you have to say where it comes from, right? So it is public, so we can use it from the subscriber, but we have to say it is in the publisher and it is called this way. And now when we print, we can say e.isBool, e.an integer, a float number, that are the fields here. So whatever it is that they're being set, true, 42 and 42, here it will print. All right, let's see if it is really true, if it really does work. We go back to Unity and it recompiles. As soon as it's done recompiling, let's see. Now we can press play. So we expect when I press spacebar, two messages appear, right? One that is hello world, the other is hello universe. There you go, right? And then again and again. Of course, it always prints the same thing because we are just shooting constants. What if I duplicate the subscriber once and I press play? We expect to see four messages, two hello worlds and two hello universe, right? There you go. No surprising at this point, hopefully. And that's it. That's all there is to it. It is important to start thinking in terms of publishing the fact that an event has happened. Instead then right away writing code that says, if I detect this happened, right? Here. So then say, okay, if this event happened, then do something, right? Instead, we should change the way we think. Don't just print, say, hello world and hello universe right away here. Instead, let's define some event delegates and then execute them. And so basically, let be a publisher of this event having happened. And let's start thinking, oh, somebody else will subscribe to it in their start function or whatever. And they decide what happens. This is way more flexible, first of all, sure, because we can have multiple subscribers and they can each define different things that can happen. It is also it is easier to extend, right? I add a brand new subscriber, subscriber X, and I add this, I add that, I subscribe to spacebar because I want to do something. Let's say I want to add a sound effect when the avatar jumps. So I have a function called add sound when avatar jumps, and then I write, that a sound is being played, something like that. I don't have to touch the existing code. The code that does, actual jumping up and down and all those things, they essentially are untouched. I am layering sort of on top of existing behavior, one more layer of behavior by adding a new object, a new subscriber, and inside has a new function, and I say, I want to add this one. I want to add this behavior when that event happens. So you see how independent it is. If I decide to do everything right here in the same function that detects the condition, it also does things. Then I would have to come here and say, okay, I'm already jumping, and then I want to add the sound effect, right? And now you have a problem because this class now has to know about sound effects, has to know about physics, has to know about so many things, right? Whereas this class is just a publisher, it should know about the keyboard, sort of, right? That's all this class should know about because spacebar is on the keyboard. And that's it. The concern, that's what computer scientists say, right? Or software engineers, architects. The concern of the publisher is to know that the key on the keyboard has been pressed. You shouldn't know about physics jumping up and down. You shouldn't know about the sound system playing the sound effect of when you jump. Whereas each of the subscriber, one knows about physics, the other one knows but doesn't know anything about sounds. The other one knows about sounds and doesn't know anything about keyboards. And none of the subscribers know about the keyboard, right? And so I said the subscribers, one knows about sound effects but not physics, the other knows about physics but not sound effects, and neither one knows about the keyboard. Plus, if tomorrow I want to say if the keyboard has the spacebar on the keyboard has been pressed, or maybe the X on the controller has been, on a Xbox PlayStation style controller has been pressed, then do that. Again, I have only to modify this. Everything else the subscribers do is still the same. So you can see that at an architectural level, this is really great. It really makes it easy to add new features and keeping different concerns separated, and classes don't have to know about each other. For instance, if for an event, at a certain point there are no subscribers, nothing breaks. Like if I do invoke here and nobody subscribe, well, that's okay. It's fine. Nothing explode. And that is the biggest, take-home message that I can give you. Events are really important for making flexible, easy to extend architectures. And then we will see later how they can be also combined with scriptable objects to also gain some other desirable features like persistency and things like that. But we will talk about those in due time. Thank you.